Welcome back, everyone. This is another episode of the $10 game collection. We are now on the 10th episode. So we've had 10 weeks of straight game hunting, grinding, flipping, and building up this collection. I wanted to start off this video with a question. I want to ask you all, how did you guys get into the hobby of video game collecting, hunting, flipping? Did you just always have a video game collection and you wanted to just one day build it up and collect, a lot more games? Why do you guys collect these games in the first place? Is it the excitement you get from going out and thrifting and hunting? Do you enjoy going to conventions, traveling, being a part of a bigger community? I wanted to explain to you guys my story on how I got into the hobby of video game collecting. Now, I first want to give a big shout out to Retro Rick. He actually inspired me into getting into this hobby, and it was through his videos, his $10 game collection videos more specifically. So about a year and a half ago back, around February, March of 2022, I was really big into finances and just the idea of making money. And things like a side hustle was very intriguing to me. Knowing that I can just go out and be able to make money on my own whenever I needed it. I wasn't in like a dire situation where I absolutely needed money, but I was doing things for fun, like doing DoorDash or Uber Eats and delivering food. And I was making, around $20 an hour doing that. But the thing that really made me stop was it just wasn't fun, right? It's not fun driving a car, putting mileage on your car, and doing that, a lot. So one day I stumbled upon a video from a channel that I was subscribed to, and that was Seth Fowler. He was doing a $20 sneaker collection. I had no idea what this was at the time, but he was going thrifting, buying shoes for really cheap, and flipping. And I thought to myself, wow, this is a genius idea. I can actually do this myself. I could go to thrift stores, buy shoes for cheap, and resell them. I had a little bit of experience selling shoes, and I knew that you could definitely make a lot of money if you could find shoes for less than $10. You could flip them for $20, $30. I basically binged his whole series of the $20 shoe collection, and he always gave a shout out to Retro Rick's $10 game collection because that's what inspired him to actually do his challenge. And then I went to Retro Rick's channel and binged the whole $10 game collection, and that series just blew my mind. I started going to thrift stores and finding games for super cheap that were also a very big part of my childhood. It's great to be able to get these older games back and start building a whole game collection. I started educating myself on finding items that I could buy for super cheap at thrift stores and flip for a lot of money. And that gave me the understanding that you can actually do this as a side hustle. There are actually other YouTubers that, do this full time. That's all they do for a living is going out thrifting, buying cheap items, and flipping it. But what really got my attention was the concept of putting video games into this side hustle and creating a whole collection. I think if I was doing this strictly to just buy items and flip, I wouldn't be doing this anymore. I wouldn't have the joy and excitement of doing this. It is the fact that I am buying video games and creating a whole collection. This is a hobby of game hunting and collecting. And so with the $10 game collection, it put this side hustle of buying and flipping items and video game collecting together. And that's basically how my journey of video game hunting, collecting started. And that's how I got into this hobby. So again, just want to give a big shout out to Retro Rick for introducing the $10 game collection to me and getting me into this hobby. Now let's go ahead and get into some updates for this collection. So here is how our collection is looking right now. Just a few items sold. We sold this NBA Street Home Court loose. This one sold for $16 actually, which is awesome. So after fees and shipping, we'll get to add this much back to the game fund. And then we also just sold this LG wireless headphone. This thing is actually pretty cool. It just sold for $30, which is amazing. And after fees and shipping, we'll get to add this much more back to our game fund. So great way to start off the week. Let's get out there and see what else we can find. So here we are at the AlBella bargain store. Such a great thrift bargain store that sells tons of old school vintage toys and collectibles. The store was a little quiet, so I didn't really speak much in there. You can see right here just tons of anime figures. I'm really into these figures as well. And then also here we have tons of video games. I love their selection of video games. Prices aren't too high, but they're not too low as well. I'm usually here just to see if I can catch them slipping on some lower price games. Looking through the Xbox 360 section right now and just kind of looking for games that I do want to grab. I'm going to have to ask them to open the case in order for me to actually take a look at the video games.
This one?
Yeah, we'll do this one first. I'll just grab it.
Sure, yeah.
This one right here.
I played it when it came out right away. I like it.
So this one right here. Oh.
Oh,
This one. Yeah.
This one?
Yep. Could I actually look at these two? Are those all like different prices or?
Different.
Are they all like $2.99 or?
Each one should be surprised.
Well, some of these aren't priced, I guess.
Oh, that's 99. No, hold on. This is the. I can do $2 for this.
Okay. Yeah, I might do that then.
Some of those.
Yeah, I do see. Yeah.
They go for over 100 bucks. The color ones. Understand why they go so nice.
Some of those are like not real. Those are like a little like printed, I think. But yeah. I'll just letting you know.
You're saying I got some printed or what?
Yeah, like some like reprinted or like some. Yeah, they're not like real discs, I guess.
Which one? Because I
kind of like this one might not be real. Like if you, it's kind of like maybe that's the only one I saw. Yeah, or maybe this one as well. So like the back, this is kind of like a
yeah.
You can, yeah, no, my friend has
tell.
a CD printer and you can tell by the paper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I know you got this.
Yeah.
23.
Okay. So a lot of great pickups at that AlBella bargain store. Spent about $23 and got 4 games. I wanted to get a game for the Xbox, the PlayStation, and Nintendo. So whichever console of those brands, I wanted to get at least one game for. So the first game I picked out was Fusion Frenzy on the Xbox original. And this is an absolute classic 4-player party game. Had to pick it up. Then I got Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. I'm surprised I haven't found any of these Lord of the Rings games yet at Goodwills or other thrift stores. But these are super fun. I had this on the Xbox and played the heck out of it. A great cooperative game too. And so the storyline follows the storyline. Had to pick up. And then I wanted to get an N64 game, but they just didn't have much. I got this wrestling game, Mayhem, WCW Mayhem, for $7.99. I used to be a big fan of wrestling as a kid, and I played a lot of the great ones on the N64. And thankfully, I asked to see that stack of loose games. I looked through basically all of the games and only found one that was decent. And it was actually this NCAA 13. I know NCAA 14 sells for a lot more, but this game actually sells for around $20 to $25 even loose. And he said he would give it to me for $2 to $3. So that's a great find, and it basically covers the price of what we just purchased for here. So gotta keep doing things like this to add to the collection. Came over to a Goodwill right after, and I just found one game. Found this Halo 3 ODST. This one was awesome because there were 2 parts to it, 2 discs to it. So there was the actual Halo 3 ODST game. Then it had a complete multiplayer experience disc, which contained all of the multiplayer maps for Halo 3, but it was just multiplayer that was included in this disc.
So this was great because Halo 3 was my absolute favorite Halo game and first-person shooter game overall. So many great memories with this disc. But yeah, we'll probably pick it up. There's no price on it, but I'll go up there and see what they scan it as. So made my way to a yard sale and did find some stuff that I was interested in picking up. These right here are mangas, and some of these do have some value. I'm not sure though, right off the top. But I may take a chance on these. So I only looked up this one so far, and this one actually has some decent value. Hopefully I can get it for cheap. And then these I'm gonna probably take a chance on and see how good they do. Hi, did you guys happen to have any video games, or are those probably all gone by now?
Those weren't parted with at all yet, so we're not using any of those.
Okay, so how much would you do for these books, I guess?
Well, they're typically, most of them are $1 to $2, so like this would be $1. These are 2, 4, 6, so 7 for all of them.
Okay.
So that was a pretty cool stop at that yard sale. I don't usually go to yard sales, but I was with my girlfriend and we just saw a sign. So usually when I go to yard sales, I go with my girlfriend and we're just kind of shopping around looking for stuff to maybe buy for super cheap to add to the house. I rarely find video games, but I did find some books and wanted to just take a chance and see if they can sell for the $10 game collection. I have sold some Naruto mangas in the past, and surprisingly some of them do have a lot of value. For these 3 manga books right here, the Soul Eater and Naruto books, I really took a chance on these. I didn't scan these. I always feel weird like going to yard sales and just scanning everything they have. I understand for like stores it might be better, but to go to someone's house and just be scanning stuff, it feels a little awkward because it's quiet as well. So with mangas, I do know a little bit about what collectors are looking for. So they're looking for like the date and the issue it was printed and things like that, small things like that that you find on like the first few pages in the book. And depending on when it was printed, some of these could have some huge value. But I'm so glad that I scanned this Sonic comic book. Looks really cool. It actually goes for around $25 to $30, so that alone will recoup all of our money back for this purchase. I have one quick update. Sold one game, and that was this Call of Duty Black Ops 2 on the PS3. This one actually sold for $14, which is pretty cool that this one actually does have some value. Gonna go ahead and package this up so I can ship it. After fees and shipping, this is how much we'll get to add back to our game fund. So we're out here at Goodwill, and I think I may have just gotten an amazing find. Here is a calculator, a TI-84 Plus. I found one of these earlier in the episode, not a silver edition, but I was able to sell it for around $40. But this is the same situation, doesn't turn on unfortunately. A little dirty, but can easily clean it. Take a look at the back. There is a little bit of corrosion right there, but I don't know, maybe I do take a chance again. It is $7, so even for parts it sells for around 15 to 20. So if it doesn't work, maybe I just sell it for parts and probably get my money back. But if it does work, hey, that'll be $40 extra we get to add to the collection. So really quick, just want to show you guys some cool stuff that I found that I'm probably going to pick up. Got a PlayStation 1 game, Track and Field 2000. Never played it before, but I think it sells for around $10-ish. I would like to start picking up PlayStation 1 games because I do like that console. So I may just pick this up to add to the collection since the value is, you know, around $10. And then I also found this Fallout 4 mini glass set. This is so cool. Fallout is one of my favorite game series,
and I just rarely find stuff like this out in the wild. So when I do find stuff like this, I always pick it up. I won't be adding this to the collection though. This will just be for me to have at home and just putting it, you know, in my room for design and decoration. Hello. Just gonna pick these up.
And your total today came to 20.01. Did you want to round up 99 cents to further score?
No, it's okay.
And your total is 20.01.
Alright, so figured I'd just show you guys really quick what I did to clean up this calculator. So I had a little bit of battery corrosion in here, and I've already went through with this toothbrush. So I'm using this isopropyl alcohol. I just put a little bit on this toothbrush and wiped it in here. And so that's all clean, and this stuff is great because it dries very fast. So it's liquidy, but once you wipe it on there, it dries within, I don't know, a couple of seconds or minutes. Now we're gonna see if putting some new batteries in there will fix the calculator, see if it will turn on. So it wasn't working when I was in Goodwill, but we'll find out right now if it does work. I'm assuming it will. These calculators are actually pretty durable and are pretty hard to actually break. So that's in now, and let's go ahead and press on. There it goes, working perfectly. Let's just type some stuff in, do some equations like that, and yeah, I mean, works perfectly fine now. That air is out, turns off, turns back on, clears. So I mean, looks like it's working to me. So that's great. I guess I can show you guys a little bit about how I'm gonna clean it too. So let's go ahead and turn that off. So I'll take the batteries out. When I do sell this, I will leave the batteries in though, because I don't want people getting mad that I sent them a calculator that doesn't work. So leaving the batteries in there, at least, you know, it'll be able to turn on as soon as they get it. So I got a Clorox wipe right here. This is what I use to basically clean everything. My video games, my items, even some shoes I use this to clean. And it works great. I guess the front of this is already in pretty good condition, so I don't really need to wipe it. But I'll probably just like really carefully get in like the cracks and crevices of this in the back here so that it just looks a lot better. And then maybe I'll just quickly go over this front like this. Hopefully I don't break it. Then I've got myself a microfiber cloth, I guess. Just gonna use to quickly wipe everything to get it dry. Also clean the cover and the cover for the batteries. It's always great to clean stuff. I don't really mind it. Oh, this is really dirty. And just like that, it's 10 times better already. A lot cleaner now. So I am here at Mega Media Xchange. There's a couple of these stores in my area that are closing down and there are sales going on. I'm not sure about this location though. I don't think this one is closing, and I'm not sure if it has the 10% off sale. But since we're here, I just wanted to grab some cheaper games to add to my collection. This store doesn't really underprice games. They usually price it on par with eBay prices. I did spot one game in the Xbox 360 section that I may just pick up. It's nothing special or nothing valuable, but it's this Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter. This was actually the first Xbox 360 game I had, and it wasn't the most fun. I think I just played like the campaign story mode. It was a really clunky third-person shooter game, but it was the first game I had on the Xbox 360, so $2.99, I think that's an easy grab. And since we're on the theme of first games I owned, here is the first game I owned on the original Xbox. The Star Wars The Clone Wars and then Tetris Worlds Dual Pack. I think this might have came with the original Xbox, not sure, but for $5, I know I often find these at Goodwills, but I haven't found it yet. The Star Wars game was so much fun, so many great memories. It had a campaign mode that was a ton of fun, and then the multiplayer as well. There was like a horde mode
with, you know, continuous waves of enemies and seeing how long you last. I remember that mode so much. You could play with, I think, one extra person. And another game that I'm really interested in grabbing and surprised I haven't found yet at the Goodwills is BioShock. This one's only $2.99, basically Goodwill prices, so may just pick it up. I would pick these up too, but they're a little higher. I think I'll just go with one of them for now though. So for the PlayStation 1, I think the first game I owned was actually Digimon Rumble Arena, and that's got to be like the rarest game because through these past year and a half of me game hunting and collecting, I've never seen a physical copy out in the wild. So we probably won't be able to pick that up ever. But I think there is one game that I'm interested in. Also Spyro. One of the Spyro games I owned and played a ton, but I think those are still a bit too high priced. Spotted this right here, this Beyblade game. Big fan of Beyblade and the TV show as well. So Beyblade on the PS1 is priced at $8, which is, you know, a bit higher, but may just go with this one. Still under $10, not a bad price. So I've just been searching in the PS2 section for any games that may interest me. Definitely want to grab a game, and primarily something that's exclusive, but these games are just so high priced now. I wanted to pick up Dynasty Warriors, but for $14, it's a bit high. I know I probably won't ever find it out at like a Goodwill or a thrift store, or I don't know, who knows. Was considering Devil May Cry 3 as well, but we'll think on that. So I recently just picked up the Lord of the Rings game, I think Two Towers on the PS2, and I guess now might be a good time to also pick up Return of the King for $10. Still a bit high, but yeah, I'm just not seeing anything worth grabbing. And then before I leave here, considering picking up an N64 game so we can have another one in the collection. I'm seeing some wrestling games, Warzone. That might actually be a decent one. I did play that one. Wave Racer. I'm really considering that Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. So I just wanted to grab the Star Wars Racer Episode 1. Yeah, right there. That's about it, yeah. Then also gonna grab all of these.
$36.72. I'm just gonna grab these first. Make sure they're all clean.
Sounds good.
So we had another amazing week of video game hunting and collecting. We found so many great items to add to our collection and then also to flip. The first place we stopped at was the AlBella bargain store. Such an amazing store, so many toys and collectibles as well as video games. And we got 4 items from there, 4 games. We got this N64 game, another N64 game to add to the collection. This is WCW Mayhem. Then we picked up Lord of the Rings on the PS2, the Two Towers. Big fan of Lord of the Rings, basically the movies. And then I used to play these games as well. Then we picked up Fusion Frenzy on the Xbox Original. One of the very first Xbox Original games that I played. A fun 4-player party style game. And then the last item we got was actually NCAA Football 13. This is loose, and he actually gave it to me for around $2 or $3. This actually resells for around $20-25. So if we flip this will probably pay for the 3 games that we got as well. And then we randomly stopped at a yard sale this week. So glad that I did, because I was able to actually find something. I rarely find stuff at yard sales. But I got some books that I'm planning to buy and flip. We got a Naruto manga, and then also 2 Soul Eater mangas. I realize that mangas do have some decent value nowadays. And then we picked up this Sonic Select book, and this is the hidden gem of them all. This is around $20 to $30 in value, so definitely gonna flip this as well. Then just quickly stopped at a Goodwill and picked up Halo 3 ODST. And then we stopped at another Goodwill and found myself a calculator. This is a TI-84 Plus. These have a ton of value. Gonna get this listed on eBay as soon as I can, because I know it'll sell quick. And then we also picked up this PlayStation 1 game. I think this is our first PlayStation 1 game in our collection. Just a track and field 2000 game. about $10 in value, so definitely had to pick it up. And then our last stop was Mega Media Xchange. They had just so many games in there and a lot of cheap ones as well. The first game I picked up was Star Wars Racer on the N64, another great N64 game to add to our collection. I remember I used to go to Blockbuster and rent this game all the time. I never actually owned it, but still a ton of fun. Then I picked up Beyblade on the PlayStation 1. Big Beyblade fan as well. It used to come on TV all the time and I used to always watch the show. Then we got Lord of the Rings Return of the Kings. Hoping to just complete this set of games on the PS2 as well. Such a great game too. Then I got a couple games that definitely brought me back. These were some games, the first games that I got on these consoles. So for the Xbox 360, the first game I had was Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter. Definitely not the best game, but still a bunch of fun, especially when you don't have any games. I didn't really have money to buy games back then, so as a 13-year-old, this was all I had, so this is all I played. And then also Star Wars The Clone Wars along with Tetris Worlds. Tetris Worlds was an amazing game. I love the music and just the graphics and animations in the game. And then Star Wars Clone Wars is probably my favorite Star Wars game still. And then the last game I picked up was BioShock. This is definitely one of my huge favorites as well. I remember the first time playing this game too and going into the world of Rapture. I hope they remake this game as well or add more games to this series. Definitely missed this one. And that basically concludes it for our video. So many great games to add to our collection. And I'm also going to get a lot of this stuff listed on eBay as well so we can build up that game fund. If you guys are not subscribed yet, please do me a favor and like the video. And then also subscribe to my channel so you guys can stay up to date with new content that I upload. And also just to support me in what I'm doing with these videos. Thank you guys for watching and I'll see you guys on the next episode.